Well, for the last year and a half, America has said if other countries hold their dollars in European banks or American banks, and they do something that we don't like, we have a right to grab all of their dollars and simply take them. For instance, Venezuela wanted to have a socialist government, so the America told England, take all of Venezuela's gold and seize it, and we will designate somebody we think should be president of Venezuela, Mr. Guaido.
Guaido, I don't even remember his name fully.
Venezuela lost its gold supply. A year ago, February, America simply grabbed all of Russia's savings in the West. America's told China, Iran, other countries, if you don't impose the sanctions against Russia and China, if you don't commit economic suicide by letting America colonize you financially, we will just grab all of your money. Everything's fair play. You're holding dollars, we get to grab it. So they've told the whole world that the dollar is no longer safe. The dollar is now a political currency, and other countries look at the statistics and they realize that how are these dollars being pumped into the world economy? They're being ever since the Korean War, the major factor in the American balance of payments deficit that sends dollars abroad has been military spending. So when other countries keep their foreign exchange reserves in dollars, Europe, Russia, China, then by holding the dollars, they hold these dollars safely in treasury securities. They have been buying a treasury security has been the way of funding America's 800 military bases surrounding them. So foreign countries have paid for America to surround them with military bases and to fund America's military because the dollars that are in the world are the monetization of American military spending. That's what my book Super Imperialism was all about. And this was very conscious policy by the United States, by the Defense Department. I had many meetings with the State Department, the Defense Department, way back right after America went on gold, and they were very clear that yes, as long as we can have other countries holding their reserves in dollars, not in gold, not in any alternative to the dollar, then we can spend all the money we want militarily, and they will not dare fight against us. So other countries now decide, wait a minute, America, we're seeing what NATO is doing in Ukraine, fighting to the last Ukrainian. We see that they're now trying to get Taiwan. They would like Taiwan to fight to the last Taiwanese. They'd like to promote military instability all over, so they're bailing out of the dollar. How do they do this? How do they finance their trade? Well, Saudi Arabia and China sat down and said, well, most of our trade really is with each other. Saudi Arabia has been buying American military goods, but then it realizes that America if can simply stop giving them spare parts and repairing their goods. So Saudi Arabia and China are dealing in their own currencies now with currency swaps. And the BRICS countries, Russia, China, Iran, other countries are all putting in place currency swaps to deal in their own currencies for trade amongst themselves. Well, so far, these are only bilateral deals because there isn't really a common alternative currency. In order to make an alternative currency beyond merely holding each other's currency, you would have to have an alternative to the International Monetary Fund. And that's what Lula was talking about when he went to Asia. How do we make a common alternative bank? Well, the problem with an alternative bank is you need its members to agree on who gets the credits. The idea is to make something like what John Maynard Keynes proposed way back in 1944, a bank that would create paper gold, artificial money, and essentially give it to various countries. The kind of special money that this bank would create isn't the kind of money that you spend at the grocery store. It's not money that would spend domestically. It's money to do what gold does, and that is only settle balance of payments deficits among central banks. That's what gold is now. Before you had the dollar standard or treasury bill standard in 1971, when countries would run a balance of payments deficit, they'd have to pay in gold. So every month during the Vietnam War, the soldiers in the army would spend money in Vietnam and Southeast Asia. That used to be part of the French colonial empire. The banks were mainly French. The banks would send the dollars that were spent to the central bank in Paris, and General de Gaulle would take these dollars and would say, "Okay, here are the dollars we have. Give us your gold at $35 an ounce." And that was how America's gold stock was going way down. It's spending abroad. Not only France was getting gold, but Germany was getting gold by running a trade surplus and cashing its a surplus into gold. So you're seeing right now other countries and running instead of getting more dollars as they run a balance of payment surplus, they're buying gold and they're buying each other's currencies. It's going to be a while before they can be a real BRICS bank because you're going to have a political agreement among a large group of countries over, what kind of money is really going to be created. How are we going to create and allocate this paper gold among countries that can be used for among ourselves? That is still being discussed. And we're going to, but when it finishes being discussed, people will not have to deal with dollars at all anymore. And in fact, if they trade with the United States, they can say, well, if you want to buy something from China, you pay in our currency. We're going to cut back our spending on the United States. And all of a sudden, if the United States is unable to have other people keep their savings in dollars, meaning buying treasury securities, then how are they going to pay the international balance of payments costs of their military spending? They won't be able to spend militarily abroad. The only way they can do it is drastically cut back imports in the America. And to do that, you have to cut wage rates by 20%. You have to make the American labor force the poorest labor force in the West, so that all of the balance of payments money that's spent is not on buying goods and services to consume, but only for military spending. That is the Cold War, and the American wage earning class and the labor unions are committing labor suicide by not realizing that if you refocus your balance of payments away from industry and towards military, that it's the consumers and the wage earners that have to suffer. And of course, if the wage earners in the domestic market really has its wages go down, why would anyone invest in the United States if no workers can afford to buy the products that they produce? And other countries are buying products from each other, not from the United States. That's what the future is looking like for the U.S. economy.